Did it actually grab me or not?
Yes,
No?
you
Okay.
are the Danny Brigman. Welcome to the Run Shoe Diaries Podcast, celebrating runners of all backgrounds and abilities. This is where running unites, inspires, and motivates. Lace up to get your race up. Let's get moving. Hey, what's up, everybody out there running on native land? And welcome to the Run Shoe Diaries Podcast. I'm your host, Luis, a.k.a. Chico, and this is Season 3, Episode 7, making it broadcast number 27. Thank you for spending some of your precious time listening to the show. I appreciate it. Definitely not going to waste it. Lace up, race up, and let's get moving. We're back at the start line with the guests way back from episode 16. Some people talk about building community. Others actually put in the work day in, day out, especially when nobody's watching. A founder, a community-driven leader, and an ultrarunner who stepped up and finished the Crazy Mountain 100 in 2025, proving that long-term consistency always beats short-term intensity. He's been a supporter of the Run Shoe Diaries podcast from its early stages. He's like a little brother who's been putting in work behind the scenes. So, do me a favor, help me welcome a man who represents what this community is all about, the one they call Running Bear, Mr. Danny Brigman.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
So happy to finally be back.
Yes, sir. Hey, Danny. First of all, welcome back to the show. And before we get into the miles, we start every episode the exact same way with the Run Shoe Diaries Fast 5. So let's see what you got, Bear. Let me know when you're ready.
All right, let's go.
All right, here we go. Question number 1. Do you like to run on roads or trails, and why?
Trails. I like breaking up the monotony, being out there in the wilderness, feeling more connected to the land, and more focused on the journey and not caught up in pace and everything else.
Oh, heck yeah. I definitely agree with that. You know, that is one of the things that I don't have the privilege to do a lot is run on trails. There is actually one trail that I do run down here. It's called Cattail Marsh. But the flip side to that, it is a place where they harvest gators. So, so a little bit of motivation there, I guess, as well. Question number 2. Do you prefer medals, buckles, or would you be out there running even if there was nothing at the finish line?
I would be out there running if there was nothing, but nothing can really beat a nice buckle.
Yeah, definitely. Oh man, I know we're going to have some great buckle talk here in a little bit. So let's move on to question number 3. What do you do when you're not running, but you still need to reset?
So if I'm not running and I still need to reset, normally it's family time. Just try and be where my feet are. Where, yeah, sure, running helps with so much, but being there with my family, being there with my kids, definitely trying to be active with them is where I usually end up with. And seeing their joy when they're active is 10 times better than anything running gives me.
Oh, heck yeah. Hey, the last time we were talking on the podcast, correct me if I'm wrong, you were just getting ready to have a child at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And now how old is that child?
If that was Atlas, he's a year and a half. So I think that probably was Atlas. He's a year and a half. His birthday is early July.
Hey, question number 4. What is one thing that your younger self got completely wrong about life?
There's so much, man. This could be a whole podcast in itself, but to kind of keep it to the point, just that like everything was going to be structured and there'd be a process. If you do A plus B, it's always going to equal C, whether if you just go through college, you're going to get a job and not realizing how much more complicated that is, or like, hey, everyone in these high up job positions, they're there off of merit because they're good employees. Like everyone with job titles must be great. And learning that's not the case, just so that I guess more or less a lot of us are faking it till we make it. Then we realize that it's not just you by yourself feeling that way. It's like a lot more of the world is like that.
Yeah, definitely. It's funny you say that because I was on Instagram the other day and somebody just graduated with their doctorate degree. But the caption was, nobody tells you how hard it is to find a job with no experience, but you have a doctorate degree. It's like, ooh,
yeah,
that is crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, question number 5. What is something in your life right now that you are quietly proud of?
that I'm quietly proud of. Maybe it's not quiet, but the first thing that comes to mind is we had a big local 12K in Spokane called Bloomsday.
Yeah.
And my 7-year-old and 8-year-old daughters did it with me. And it was like 85 to 90 degrees out. And they did the whole dang thing.
Nice.
And they were hurting. They were struggling. They showed all that grit and just like running that last half mile with them and their smiles to finish. Like that's something I'm really proud of them.
Heck yeah.
They were able to do it. And because they wanted to, not just because I wanted them to, like they actually wanted it.
Yeah. That has definitely got to be amazing just to see them putting themselves in the space that you often visit now, right? That mental space. That's awesome. Yeah. Hey, thank you for that. That was the Fast Five. I appreciate you rolling with that. Now let's slow it down just a little bit. For those listening who might not know you just yet, go ahead, reintroduce yourself. Tell us who you are and what you're all about.
All right. I'm Danny Brigman. I'm a Spokane tribal member over here on the Spokane Indian Reservation in Eastern Washington, kind of outside of the city of Spokane. So grew up on the reservation my whole life, come back, work for my tribe, currently work for our housing authority and finance. Big family guy, family of 5 kids total, ages 16, 8, 7, and 3 in a year and a half. Very, very busy with all those guys. And then at the same time, really try and pour back as much as I can into my community, as much as they pour into me. Help out a lot of time, setting up different community events, usually somehow centered on running and fitness, and just trying to give back as much as I can to my community.
Nice. I like it. Tying these two together, community events. So you're trying to build a community, and you're doing that as the founder of the Homelands app right now. I definitely like that. And building something like the Homelands isn't just a small feat. So let me ask you this. Where did that project even start for you?
So in order to kind of tell the story of where it started, I kind of got to go pretty far back. I think maybe we touched on this a little bit of our first conversation. So back in like 2021, post COVID, everyone was getting outdoors more, and a lot of our different movements were catching steam. And one of them that hit close home to me was the Every Child Matters movement. Up there in Kamloops, that's where a good chunk of my family's from. I have family that went to that residential school, have family that went to boarding schools here in the States. And so that kind of started me on kind of that path with those movements. And then that set the foundation. And then that kind of evolved into, I did a virtual challenge, Run the Res, I think is what I called it, where you would just log your miles on whatever tribal lands you were. And I did that challenge, I think, for 2022, 2023. What I was kind of seeing with that challenge was it was more or less people like you and me, Chico, participating that already know whose native lands we're on. And it wasn't kind of reaching beyond and kind of really educating people. And someone in some comment was saying, hey, like, what is this? Is this an app? Like, I want to be a part of this challenge. And that really kind of light bulb moment for me. I'm like, what if this was an app and it was more accessible? Because the way my challenge went, it was so tedious to go in. You had to have like 3 different web browsers in to log everything in.
Yeah.
What if I streamlined this? And so that planted the seed of how could I do some sort of like fitness challenge or fitness app where we could log our miles, see whose native lands we're on, and all be in one place.
Yeah.
And so from there, I kind of got started with that idea, started fleshing out a little bit, talked to a handful of different developers, which helped me kind of flesh the idea out more. But at the same time, I wanted to get someone on board that was just as excited about it as I was.
Yeah.
And then I finally found the one and kind of got the ball rolling with them and figured out what different phases it was going to take, what all I needed to pour into it, what they could do. And that's kind of really how all of that got started. And that was, that would have been, was it 2023, 2024-ish is when like the developing actually really started.
How close are you to getting a finished product? I mean, I'm sure once it's finished, there's still going to be things that need to be tightened up after that. It's just like a continuous refining project. But how close are you to the end?
Really, really close. So it's kind of taken a little bit longer than anticipated just because of funding. I'm at the point right now where I've been able to kind of dig into my own pockets and get money together to cover nearly most of it. So I'm $7,000 away from paying the development phase. And once that's paid, then the beta version will be ready for testing. Assuming the beta version is pretty solid, then the app can go live shortly after.
Oh, wow. Now from the outside, people see what you're building, but what's something they don't see about your journey? What are some of the struggles of the Homelands app journey?
The biggest struggles probably are financial. It's very quick and easy to say like, oh, apply for a grant over here, talk to these guys over there. But I have found out kind of the hard way, this specific niche of app development, but then also kind of in this newish space that's not carved out.
Yeah.
It's in this area that just doesn't have coverage. So like typical grants and stuff are more for tribes and nonprofit. This isn't a nonprofit. A lot of entrepreneurial stuff, they want to see an established business with revenue. This is an app that's starting up that doesn't have revenue yet. And then so any sorts of these programs that doesn't really cover this, where it's capital intensive up front without clear like, hey, we show you've made money for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And so that's been really hard. And then been networking, kind of getting out of my comfort zone, just trying to talk to more people, talk to more entities. And that usually ends up being the roadblock. And with that, another part of it is you don't have like a product in front of you that you can show them of like, hey, look at this shirt, feel it. It's different.
Yeah.
It's an app. And it's not fully developed yet. So it's like, there's some resistance there of like, okay, is this guy just a snake oil salesman? Like, what's going on? Like, I don't have something to see right here.
Yeah, nothing tangible yet.
Yeah. And so like through these phases, that's where I'm able to get a little bit more momentum to where it's like, instead of just a pitch, now I'm going to have some like screen recordings of what the different app pages will look like. And so that's kind of able to like make people feel more secure. But I just really found out this specific space is kind of like just like uncharted land, it seems like. And so it's definitely kind of like there's no clear path for me. And so I'm kind of like trying to blaze my own path through here.
I understand. Hey, the Homelands app sounds like it's very, very deeply rooted in community and youth. It definitely says a lot about who you are. But let's shift gears for a second and let's run it back. This is something that we do from time to time on the show. We go back to something you said, whether it be in a Fast Five or a previous podcast. We just don't let it slide. So I like to run it back. I want to run it back to episode 16 because the last time you were on the show, we just didn't end a conversation. We actually left off in the middle of a story. You were coming off the Crazy Mountain 100, and I remember that hunger, that need for redemption. And at that point, you had already signed up for the Teanaway Country 100. So that being said, let's pick up the journey right there at that point, because back then, Teanaway was the race that you were hoping that would help you rewrite your story. So deep breath, DNF at the Crazy Mountain 100. Danny Brigman, take one and go.
Yeah, so we had Teanaway later that fall. Trained hard, was totally... thought I was ready for it. Unfortunately, ended in another DNF. Yeah, so Teanaway is pretty brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing's quite as brutal and crazy as Crazy Mountain, but Teanaway is pretty close. It gets rugged in some sections. It was one of those, you don't know until you know. And so, like, I had to kind of make those mistakes and have those learnings. And everything was going pretty solid, but it's one of those, I think I just started out too hot. As you know, and anyone who's ran Crazy Mountain, there's definitely sections of Crazy Mountain, especially after like the first 20-ish miles. The trail's a little bit more rough to where you can't really open up.
Yeah.
A lot of loose rocks and stuff. So the Teanaway, in the beginning, the downhills were buttery smooth.
Yeah.
Even though it was single track trail and everything. And I paid for it because I went way too hard on those downhills. And I'm like, oh man, runnable downhill. I've been waiting for this for months. Like ever since Crazy Mountain, I couldn't open up. And so I just hammered my legs early on in the race. And so after about the halfway point, I started finding out I couldn't do more than just walk the downhills.
Yeah.
And so that cutoff time started sneaking up on me as I was getting slower and slower. And then before I knew it, my whole lower leg, like calf, everything was not quite seized up, but like there's no ankle flexion.
Yes.
I couldn't, everything was just like stuck.
Yeah.
And so then even hiking after that was rough. And then my cousin was coming to pace me for that, but the wheels had kind of already fallen off. And it was like, I made the decision in my head. I quit in my head before my body gave up.
Yeah.
So I was just feeling that pain and I just like mentally already quit. So by the time I came into that aid station, I think I was an hour ahead of the cutoff. But that aid station, I think, was at mile 76 or 72.
Yeah.
And that was the last place you could drop from. And that was going to be the last time you saw a crew. Yeah. And I just knew what was ahead of me. And I'm like, there's no way. Like, I'm not going to make it. So let me just call it quits here. And sat there and watched runners maybe just as bad a shape or worse shape than me come through and still going. And I was sitting there in the chair, already had my mind made up, already had my shoes off and was making plans.
Yeah.
So that's where Tianaway ended.
Man, I'll tell you, I felt that plenty of times. The race director, Rob, he was the race director and owner for trail racing over Texas for a number of years. He actually sold that, and now he has Rise Racing down here in Texas. And one of his sayings is, if you're going to run an ultra, you got to burn the boats. That means getting out there. There's no way of getting back except for, walking or running it in. But it's the same thing with burning the boats. You can't leave yourself a way back. It definitely sounds like you left it all on a line there. And trust me, plenty of us have done that too. So quick question for you on this one. Hey, after Crazy Mountain, what was the biggest lesson that you took into Tianaway, whether it be physically, mentally, or spiritually? And where did that actually show up when it mattered most for you out there on that Tianaway course?
I think one of the biggest things was just the experience. So before Crazy Mountain, the only ultra I ever did was a 50 miler.
Jesus.
Right? Especially to look back, because that's some crazy guy with a podcast. That's my big brother now was like, yeah, sure, let Crazy Mountain be your first 100. And so, yeah, so I was so green. I had no idea of anything. And so then Crazy Mountain was like, okay, this is what this pain feels like. This is what this hurt feels like. And that time on feet even, kind of getting that experience to where it's like, okay, cool. Like Crazy Mountain was the hardest thing I've ever done. Now I have a reference point. And so it just gave me more confidence headed into Tianaway. Than I think if I just went straight into Tianaway off the start.
Oh, yeah, I definitely understand that. Coming off the Crazy Mountain experience, did Crazy Mountain leave any fear in you going into Tianaway?
It did. Like, as much as I say it gave me experience and all this stuff, like, there's still that voice that's like in the back of my head of like, are you good enough? Can you actually do this? Like, should you be out here? And that voice was still there, and it kind of had like a win up on the board already with Crazy Mountain. And so like that voice was in the back of my mind. And I honestly do think at that aid station at Tianaway, like I could have left, but I wouldn't have met the overall cutoff time. I would have been out there like well past dark, just struggling. I would have been a liability to everyone. Yeah. But that voice in my head was what kind of led me to mentally quit first of like, look, remember Crazy Mountain? Like, remember how that ended? And look, here you are. Like, your body's given up on you. Maybe you aren't cut out for this. And it's like, okay, yeah. Like, and I just let that voice get to me. Like, let's call it a day here.
All right. So all the lessons learned that you have from the Crazy Mountain DNF and the Tianaway, what of those are you still working on and still following through to execute as a runner?
Yeah, it's one of those... I don't know. I'm trying to like think of stuff that's not just like the corny basic stuff of like
I understand.
it's corny because it's so true to everyone. I forget what the exact quote is, but I heard people say like it's 80% physical and 80% mental.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of that thing of not forgetting to train your mind as much as your body, that like you have to be in sync to do these things.
Yeah.
And like you can't over index for one over the other. You really got to be the complete package to go into these things, because when one fails, the other is there to keep you going. And like that's what having to learn the hard way on these things is. Like I was kind of through these various different races experiencing it on either extreme of like my mind quitting before my body. And then I've had situations like since then of like my mind still raring to go and my body gave up.
Yeah. Well, now you put yourself through 2 brutal 100-mile experiences, and you came back to a redemption race at the Crazy Mountain 100. Tell me about that experience.
Well, we will see a back up for a second. I DNF'd Crazy Mountain a second time, because my second DNF is when you got your redemption and you finished.
That's right.
I went in shambles and went back to the finish line to see you finish.
Okay. So the second year of Crazy, right?
Yes.
And then you DNF'd that one. And then you came back to the start line for me.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then let's fast forward to your finish now, which was 25.
Yeah.
Give us the down and dirty on that.
Okay. Yeah. So heading into that one, man, it's one of those... I felt like obviously unfinished business, but I almost felt like my Seattle Seahawks head into the Super Bowl of like already knew that we were going to kick ass and win this thing.
Yeah.
Of like the game, just like the clock needed to start sort of deal. And like, I wasn't going in overly cocky, but having DNF'd twice, having DNF'd Teanaway, then going back to Teanaway and getting redemption, I'm like, hey, like I'm built for this. I know each misstep I've had, I'm prepared, I'm ready to go. Now is my turn.
Yeah.
And so it was like on the way there, it was almost like a business trip of like, okay, cool. Like we're here to kick some ass. Like, let's get going. And then so it was locked in from the start. And then like, I just love Crazy Mountain so much. And like, as much as I was like treating it like as a business trip, going for the pre-race check-in and kind of mingling with all of our other different like native runners and meeting some people in person for the first time that I've known online, and going through check-in. And then Megan has this picture up of me at check-in. She grabbed this headshot of me and put it in a picture frame. I was hearing people talk in front of me in the line, and they were asking if that person had died. Like it looked like a memorial set up. And I was just like, oh my God. Like, yeah, no. Like maybe I need to hang on to that. I might actually end up dying at Sunlight this year. So we'll see if the prophecy comes true here. Yeah. But of course, leave it to Megan to, kind of break my tension in my head and my seriousness with that right off the bat, completely unexpected. Laughs. And so that kind of like helped set the tone. Then obviously she jokingly gives me a hard time during her pre-race meeting because so on the second year when I DNF'd, it rained on us pretty hard in the beginning. Mm-hmm. And I did not have the required jacket in my pack because I'm like, Crazy Mountain is so hot. I don't need it. Let me just leave it in my drop bags. And then it dumped rain on us and I got soaked. Yeah. Obviously, I'm here talking to you, so I was fine. But then Megan went to make an example of me in the race check-in of like, don't forget your jacket like Danny did. They will and can rain, like weather changes quickly. And so, of course, there's Megan to big sister me and get things going. And that was all before the start of the race and kind of like helped set the perfect tone and feelings before I get going for that last redemption tour at Crazy.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I know we're talking about the 2 times DNF, but what changed in this third time that wasn't physical for you?
I think it was kind of twofold. It was the experience, and with the experience comes like that mental strength of it's one of those things you just don't know until you know. Yeah. And so kind of going through these challenges, and as much as I wanted to give up after each DNF, because I had just in total in 100-mile races, I had 3 DNFs in a row. Yeah. As much as I wanted to quit, just having a good support system around me just to kind of keep going. And then through that, you know, digging deep and still being foolishness enough or brave enough to continue trying, and then kind of getting a couple of wins under my belt and just getting that experience of like, okay, when I feel this way, here's what I do. Because you can listen to every podcast, you could read every article, you could follow every pro runner, but you don't know until you know. Like, you got to experience it yourself. And like, that's what I was feeling out there. And like, you know, as simple as lows don't last, like they will end, and like actually experiencing it finally, because it's something, you know, everyone talks about, but like until you live it, okay, like this is how it is. Like, yes, that did end. That wasn't the end of the world.
Right.
And just having that experience, which that experience building up my mental strength to like, okay, I have like more tools in my mental tool belt.
Yeah.
Like, I am equipped to pull this thing.
At what point did you stop trying to prove something and started trusting yourself out there?
I think that probably wasn't until, you know, ironically, I don't think it was until the second Tianway attempt to where probably big sister Phyllis convinced me to not quit.
Yeah.
She come to pace me at that race, and like Phyllis being Phyllis, she already knew exactly what I was going to say before I said it.
Yeah.
So she made the long drive just to come pace me, and she prepped my crew. He's going to say these things. He's going to feel this way. Don't listen to him at all. And sure enough, like I come into that section, I was hitting a low, and that's what I was talking about, hitting a low, and realizing I was going to snap back. And like I already had my DNF speech planned out in my head of like what I'm going to tell these guys. And my dad, he ran down the trail a ways and met me, and I'm giving him my DNF speech, and then he lets me finish. He's like, yeah, no, Phil said you were going to say that. So just go sit in the chair. We got everything ready for you. And I'm like, what? Huh?
Oh,
and then we went out to the trails, and Phyllis gave me that tough love of like, quit whining. Like, you're fine. Like, this sucks. This is what you signed up for. Like, come on, move faster. You can move faster. Come on, quit. Like, I don't want to keep waiting on you, and being like, oh, okay. Yeah. And then really Phyllis grounding me, and at the same time being that big sister voice that I needed in the moment was like, okay, yeah, no, like there's nothing to prove. Like, okay, no, like this is what I'm here for. Like that was that moment. Kind of Phyllis flipped that completely, because if Phyllis wasn't there, I probably would have ended up DNFing that again and maybe just given up. But Phyllis, having lived it long enough and like knowing what I was saying before I was saying it, like helped snap me out of that.
What did those DNFs teach you that finishing could never teach?
Well, that's one of those things, like, obviously you can still learn things from a finish, but I feel like you learn so much just about yourself, whether it's just like the specifics of like racing better, or whether it's hydration, training, all that stuff, but then just like mentally. And because it's one of those DNFs, it sticks with you. Like, it's almost like you got branded, and like you have to stare at it. And it's like, so it just sits with you. Like finishing getting a buckle, it's like, cool, I can throw up a picture of my buckle. I can throw up on Strava, my race result, and you kind of move on. But that DNF just sticks. It just sits with you, and you just have to live with it. And so with that, like, you're kind of forced to face yourself with a DNF.
Right.
You're kind of forced to be like, okay, something happened. What was it? And, you process it with overtime. So like the time I DNF'd Tianway, I was thinking, oh, my legs, they just gave out. Yeah, no, it was a smart call. I could have getting compartmentalization in my muscles. Like, it could have been really bad. It could have ended up being rhabdo. Yeah, no, good call. And then the longer I lived with it, it was like, no, you were reckless at the beginning of the race. You hammered those downhills way too hard. And like, you made a mistake early on and just kept compounding on it. Like, it was within your control, and you made the wrong decision and you had to live with it.
Right.
Versus like, if I would have finished the race, it would have been like, cool, chalk up another win, move on to the next one.
Yeah. So I quote unquote started the race with you. And I mean, I saw you for maybe a minute, and then I didn't see you at all. But, let me throw my account in there real quick. So I was at mile 15. Man, I tell you, I wiped out hardcore. And just the way I fell on either a root or a rock. Didn't know it at the time, but After the x-rays, I end up cracking a rib. But being at mile 15, I want to say it's 19 miles to Ibex, which is going to be the second aid station. So I had to toughen it out for roughly 4 miles. And all of the runners that were passing me, just like nothing. And now I'm out there falling on myself. Anytime there was some space where there was nobody around, I was screaming and cussing. That being said, I did not know that the camera that I had in my pocket was still rolling. So I have like an hour and 20 minutes of just raw footage of people checking on me cussing, me on the ground numerous times. But I even got some behind the scenes of Ibex aid station, which is really, really awesome. But that being said, I end up trying to get out of Ibex. I got maybe about a mile out, and I was just like, I can't do it. I know it's ahead. I don't want to be a liability because I know I'm not going to see anything for the next, marathon away at least. And I know how hard that climb is. So now I got to call this. I know it's what's best. But that being said, I caught a ride back into camp. I broke down camp, and then I went and got an x-ray. Then I drove all the way back to Browning, which is like 5 hours away. Woke up the next morning to check the tracker, and on the tracker, it says that you were DNF'd. So I was just like, oh, dang it. So I'm trying to call you. It keeps going to voicemail. So I was like, all right. So me, Phyllis, and Megan were texting amongst each other. And then all of a sudden, it was me and Phyllis first. And then Megan finally gets service and she jumps in. She goes, no, he's still out there. Well, magically you pop back up on the tracker and like, you're not DNF'd. And so I'm looking at my watch. I'm like, oh man, I wonder if I can beat him. So I have a 5-hour drive, and I want to say you had maybe 20 miles to go. It's like, I wonder if I could beat him. So me and the girls jumped in the vehicle, and we made the drive all the way back down, and we caught you at the last turn going into the finish. Oh my God. I swear to God, I had the girls checking the tracker. I was like, where's he at? We finally saw you on the road, and man, I was flooring it. If there was a higher patrol there, I would definitely wouldn't have saw you finish. But we got to see you on the road at the last, I don't know, maybe it's like the last quarter of a mile. We parked and watched you come in, was there to celebrate with you. And the funny thing about it was my daughter said, you're crying in the finish photo, one of the finish photos. I'm looking at you crying, but my daughter's like, are you crying because you're happy? Or are you crying? Yes, that one. Or are you crying because you have a broke rib? But man, I'll tell you, that was just simply amazing. Timing couldn't have been perfect, but it really did allow me to sit back and allow my girls to come and witness the atmosphere at Crazy Mountain and everything. And so you being one of the people that they know from the podcast, and they've watched you grow as well, just to see your finish, it was just amazing all the way around and everything. So really, really super happy for you and everything. That being said, what did finishing actually feel like? And was it what you expected?
Oh, man, when you're recapping that, I'm getting choked up, reliving it. It was so emotional. I don't know, I can't really describe it because it's one of those things you know this well, and a handful of others. Crazy Mountain has been our top of the top, and
yes.
To especially towards the end of the race, knowing it's actually going to happen. Because there's always doubts. And knowing it was just this high that I can't even begin to describe, of getting on that pavement there at the end, knowing hey, this is happening, no matter what. Yeah. And then it was just so cool, on the pavement running. And then I just had this feeling because cars are going by, pretty much everyone driving on that road is somehow touching Crazy Mountain some sort of way. They know what's going on. So they're honking, they're cheering. Yeah. I just felt this car coming up, and I'm like, something's just different about this car. Yeah. And I could feel they're slowing down. I know this person, that I know it. And then turning and seeing you guys. And then, that is that's forever going to be one of the highlights of my running and trail life. Yeah. This indescribable high. And then coming in and seeing that finish and seeing you and Megan standing on the other side of the finish line there. And
Yeah.
it was just everything I hoped it would be and more. Like,
Nice.
it was just one of the greatest moments of like, because we all know what it takes to finish that race, and for it to like, I finally put the puzzle pieces together.
Yes.
It was just so rewarding, and just to have all of you guys there, and like all you guys know exactly how hard it is. It just was so fulfilling. It was just the highest of all highs there at the finish line. It's like it met all my expectations and it exceeded all.
Hey Run fam, here's two people who were beside me watching Danny's journey unfold over the years. My daughters have followed his story through the podcast and watched him grow as a runner. Here's that unforgettable finish line moment through their eyes.
I'm Bethy.
I'm Priscilla.
What I remember whenever you came back home is you were extremely tired. Your grumpy pants on.
Oh yeah.
So we just kind of let you be for a little bit so you could relax after you had your fall. And the next morning, hey girls, do you want to go to the race with me? And we were like,
At first I said no.
I wanted to go. And so he wouldn't be alone hurting. It was a long drive.
At the end of the drive, Dad was going really fast and they were like windy roads.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, I was so car sick and he was like speeding really bad. So
Priscilla had said, Dad, you need to slow down. Dad's like, we're almost there, hold on. He kept making me check where Danny was to see where, like, how far along he was in his, like, race. I remember passing up so many people, and then Dad would always say, like, oh, is that Danny? And we were like, no, that's not him. And then I think the final person we came up on was Danny.
And when we saw him, I think all of us got really emotional.
Yeah, we were all like, oh my gosh, this is so awesome. Like, it was just like, it was different seeing like other people finish a race other than Dad, because like
We've seen him finish so many races.
Yeah.
But like people that we don't even know, that like we know they've worked hard for, because we see how hard Dad trains. Like we know that they've worked hard just to finish that, and they're finally like accomplishing that.
But when Danny came and crossed the finish line, I think that's when that was like the highlight of us being there, because
We all started crying.
yes, like Dad was crying, me and Priscilla were crying. Like, we were all just so proud of him.
Seeing Danny cross the finish line was, I think, all of our favorite part about being here. It was just really like overwhelming, even though it's like not someone we're close to. It felt like we were all a family.
It was really heartfelt. Danny, I'm so incredibly proud of the runner that you've become, because you've showed people that failure it's inevitable, but you can overcome it. So I'm very proud of you for that.
I'm proud of you too. And you got this. And I love you. Bye, Danny. And good luck on your next race.
I appreciate you sharing that, because when you hear your full journey from DNFs to coming back and finishing the Crazy Mountain 100, it's not just about races. It's about who you've become as a runner over these past years. And the reason I say that is because now you're not stepping away from challenges anymore. You're actually leaning into something bigger now, right? So you're not just closing a chapter, you're turning the page. And now, if I'm not mistaken, you're stepping into the Oregon Outback 230.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
All right. I'm just so amazed to just see you grow and take on this next challenge. Tell me about this.
Yeah, so I've been like 200 plus mile curious for a while now.
Yeah.
And like been wanting to dip my toes in, but not quite ready. Like obviously I watch the Cocodona 250 stream every year and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I've been wanting, just as the years pass, of like, oh, can't I? And then like kind of getting it, like I said, building up that tool belt and accomplishing these hard things.
Yeah.
Of like, okay, I think that day is coming sooner rather than later. And then especially like after Crazy Mountain, like that high was that high, but at the same time it's like, okay, what next? Like that'll never be matched, but like what can I do next that will give me some sort of like what I'm looking for out of this space? And like I said, being 200 curious, obviously leaning on Phyllis a ton. I mean, she's been so great at all of these different distances. And she's definitely been planting seeds along the way and trying to encourage me. And I was looking at a couple this year and just wasn't working out timing wise of like, you know, life and everything else. And then when that Oregon Outback 230 was posted, I'm like, hey, this is closer to home. That's a good time of year. And I'm pretty sure I sent it to Phyllis first. And I was like, what do you think? Yeah, maybe. And she's like, obviously supportive, was like, go for it. And I'm like, okay, you know, I think this might be my next big thing because it's not this summer, but next summer. And then they had that kind of special on registration. I'm like, okay, that's the signal I needed. Yeah. Jumping all the way in and let's figure this thing out.
Wow. Man, you've got to be so stoked for that one.
Yeah.
Do you have any races between now and then, or are you just going to start training for that specifically?
So, yeah, I'm going to build out somewhat of a race calendar between now and then. I mean, who knows what it'll look like. This year has been a little funky, but I do have the Rut trifecta on my calendar for this year.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so that's the only thing on my calendar right now. I'm looking at maybe some more smaller local races this year. Next year's pretty wide open, but I definitely want to get some more ultras before that. Perfect world, it would be nice to get 100K or 100 miler in before that, just to kind of like dust off the cobwebs before that race.
I hear you. And the Rut will hammer your legs into shape for a little bit. And you're doing a trifecta, right?
Yeah.
Oof. Good luck, brother. Definitely going to be watching and cheering for you on that one. So the Oregon Outback 230, is this going to be the race? Is it about distance, or is there a deeper meaning for you on this one?
I think it's just wanting to explore my limits more. It's not necessarily just the distance. It's more or less the challenge and like see what I'm capable of, see what I can do, and kind of you learn so much about yourself in these things and kind of wanting to tap into that more and not just get complacent of like, hey, I've done crazy hard things. This is a little different. Let's test it out, see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. After all your races, all of your experiences, everything that you've been through, what does your crew and your support system look like going into the Oregon Outback 230?
So with that, I'm going to almost have to revamp everything. I've been lucky enough to have my dad crew me on like pretty much all of these 100 miler attempts. And so he's been able to see the worst and see the highlights.
Yeah.
My dad's not getting any younger and these are tough on him. Because as much as I try and make him sleep, he's too wired. And I end up worrying more about him than like myself when I'm out there. And so I think I'm letting him kind of soft retire on crewing me. And like,
I understand.
Yeah, I know he's going to be blowing up my phone and tracker. And if he wants to show up on his own, he's free to. But I just don't want that responsibility weighing him down. I want him to be able just to kind of spectate and enjoy it. So I'm going to have to kind of revamp everything. Phyllis has agreed to come kind of crew / pace for the early part of it.
Yeah.
But this race is the week before Crazy Mountain, I'm guessing next year.
Okay.
If Megan keeps her calendars kind of similar. So Phyllis is telling me I got to run fast so I can finish so she still has enough time to go to Crazy next year.
I hear you. Well, trust me, we're a year out. Whatever you need, all you got to do is ask.
Heck yeah.
All right. So when you picture yourself finishing this race, what do you hope is different about you on the other side?
I hope on the other side of the finish, I am able to give myself more grace. I'm maybe more patient with myself. That's kind of some things I hope is maybe not a traditional answer, but it's very easy in the day-to-day, just in general, to be, expect a lot out of yourself, work, personal life, everything else. But that's something I hope through this of having to work through multi-day, multi-night and kind of being with my own thoughts for even longer, more than twice as long as I ever have. I hope I can get to that spot to where I am just kinder to myself. I give myself more grace.
Yeah, definitely. From Crazy Mountain and Tianaway, the two races that humbled you, to coming back and finishing the very race that once stopped you and now stepping into the Oregon Outback 230, it's definitely not about the miles. It's all about growth. And you're definitely not the same runner that showed up at that first starting line. And I think people just need to understand and they need to hear that, because every runner out there, whether it's their first mile or their, 1,500 miler that they're doing, we all have moments that just stop us. But what matters is what we do after that. And the way you keep showing up, keep building, keep believing, that says a lot about who you are, not just as a runner, but as a person. Just watching you grow as a runner and then seeing the next big milestone is just going to be simply amazing to watch you keep growing. Are there any words that you want to give runners that are in their own journey, developing their running persona?
Yeah, so like to kind of give an example, then explain it a little bit more. So that first Crazy Mountain, I felt almost like a puppy dog that was looking for a home and was just trying to latch onto Chico here and just follow him through the mountains. And like, that's honestly what I felt like as a runner then, like just so green, so wide eyed, didn't know what I didn't know. And then to now be where I'm at of having finished these hard races and being experienced more in tune with, my mental strengths, weaknesses, physical strengths and weaknesses, and kind of almost trying to also be that helping hand to others of like, kind of goes back to, I've heard this more kind of like in the business space, the entrepreneur space, but it's like you overestimate what you can do in 1 year, but underestimate what you can do in 3. And I feel like that even rings true here to where I overestimated what I could do in that first year at Crazy Mountain, going from running a road marathon being my farthest distance at the beginning of that year. And then, really 3 years of racing, the third try of Crazy Mountain, and then getting it done without putting myself in danger, without flirting with cutoff, like how much just growth as the runner I had over that 3-year period. And so I just think for other people out there, kind of maybe changing that frame of reference for instead of the race directly in front of you or the running season directly in front of you, of looking at it more longer of 2-3 years out and what you can accomplish.
Right. So amazing to go back. Well, the other day I was listening to your first podcast and now to hear this one, night and day difference. So, man, congratulations on your finish at the Crazy Mountain 100 and good luck on the Oregon Outback 230. Man, that's a lot of miles. All right, Danny. So we covered the miles, we covered the mindset, we covered the moments that are going to be in your future. Let's flip the script just a little bit and let's talk about community and running events. You were putting on some running events for your local community, and since then, I believe you got your endurance coaching certification as well. How are you tying these all together to help the youth and your community?
Yeah, so that's kind of part of that too, of kind of getting that certification. I mean, obviously just want to pour back in the community, but it was almost out of necessity too, trying to build Homelands, trying to get something going too there. But I was able to kind of take all of that, and I think I'm able to do it again this summer. But last summer, I was able to do a run camp for the youth on the reservation here. It was like ages, I think like 6 to 12 years old. Had a multi-day run camp for them. It was so rewarding seeing them just grow over the couple of days. And kind of a big thing we're hammering home was, especially when it comes to sports, running's not always a punishment. Running can be fun too, because we're taught in every other sport, like when you screw up, you're sent to go run. Yeah. And so like doing that. And then I've had a couple other different community challenges that I've helped do of like, if any of the listeners are familiar with Aerovipa and Jamil, they did the Burrito League. Yeah. Be the local legend on the segment. I did that here on the reservation, and then I kind of modified that challenge again last month.
Okay. Hey, can you tell me about the Burrito League? I'm really not up to speed on what that's all about. Can you fill us in?
Yeah. So to go back to the beginning, it was last year. It was the Chipotle Challenge. Okay. And if you could be the local legend of the segment in your city, by the end of January, you would get a year's worth of free Chipotle. And wow. They were typically like 1/4 mile long segments, like usually on a sidewalk or something in the city. Yeah. And since Jamil Curry down in Tempe got in on it, it started going viral. Him and another runner, Kevin Russ, were having a showdown. All right. And I think they put like 300 to 400 miles on that segment in the month of January. What? Yeah, like he ended up setting up a whole live stream camera, and like it blew up. It went viral. And then this coming year, he was going to do it again, and Chipotle wasn't doing it. And so he just decided, what if I try and do it on my own, and then partnered with the local Mexican restaurant for the year's worth of like free burritos. And so then he kind of built it up from the ground up and set out a template, and different running communities were creating their own segments, talking to their own local restaurants for prizes and everything else. And it got to the point where, especially the bigger ones, they were getting like shoe sponsorships.
Oh, wow.
I think even down in Tempe, like the winners got free entries into Cocodona 250. Like,
really?
Yeah, like it was huge. And
What?
like, yeah, and then they had their own live stream the whole time for like the whole month of January.
Yeah.
And then it was really cool because they put it out there to like the Burrito League race directors that you can sign up and jump on the live stream. And so then hosting our own segment out here on the res, I was able to jump onto the live stream, and I was able to time it up when we were having our anniversary of our tribe's establishment. We're having a powwow going on, and our segment was on the powwow grounds.
Yeah.
And so I was able to jump on the live stream and show that off. And yeah, it was really cool.
That is pretty cool. Hey, going back to the Homelands app, do you use AI at all to help you develop this at all?
Not the actual developing. When it comes to like business plan type stuff and like kind of some of that, like I'll kind of run it through. But the actual development, so for better or for worse, I started developing it right before the AI boom, where now like AI can do a bunch of coding and stuff and developing for you.
Yeah.
I started and locked into that contract right before that AI boom.
Oh, okay.
So there is a bit of me that's like, man, this never happens in the business space or like the entrepreneur space, but if I would have sat on my idea for a while, would it have been better than just jumping with AI? But I just look at it as, I think this type of idea, like regardless, I would have needed to work with people.
Right.
And, and kind of just having that peace of mind. Everything happens for a reason. It's going to work out. But
I definitely agree. Have you ever asked AI to look you up?
No, I've never done
it. So I just looked up. Tell me about Danny Brigman. And here's what it says.
Did it actually grab me or not?
Yes. No? You are the Danny Brigman. Danny Brigman is an ultrarunner, entrepreneur, coach, and Spokane tribal member who's building the Homelands platform. He's trying to merge endurance sports, indigenous identity, community building, and technology into one ecosystem. That is what AI knows of you, sir.
Wow. Thank you, AI. I'm blushing. That was flattering.
That's pretty awesome, man. Let's see what it would say about me. It says, you're an ultrarunner, a podcast host, creator, industrial firefighter, and the founder of the Run Shoe Diaries platform, a project built around highlighting the human side of running instead of the performance side. I think that's pretty accurate. But yours was like AI was hitting on you. It's just telling me what I do. Oh, man. Oh, that is great, man. Hey, real quick, the Cocodona 250, is it 250?
Mm-hmm.
That just finished. You watched that?
From like beginning to end, man. I had it up on one of my monitors at work the whole time. Yeah. I've been trying to convert everyone in the office of like, you guys, here's what's going on. You got to follow it. Here's what's going on. Here's what you need to watch. Here's the people. Yeah, no, I love it.
That's amazing. What'd you think about the finisher? The finishers?
Oh, it was so good. That's from beginning to end is just so much fun to watch. And Rachel Entrekin, she's winning outright and setting the course record outright. She's just amazing. Like you can't help but root for her. She's the nicest person ever. At the Badger Mountain 50, I was running the 50. She was there running the 100-miler.
Yeah.
And
she kicked your butt?
Oh, yeah. She was at like miles 60 something before I was even at 50. That's when we passed. She was already headed back out. She kicked everybody's butt.
Yeah.
But she does it in such a cool way. And that's what I really like to see is I think through like athletics and everything in our culture has been so male dominant that we're like the Jordan mentality of like always trying to find that edge and you can't be friends. Yeah. And like this just shows you there's a whole alternate path because like there's no one because, you know, like what you see too in her interviews, like that's just who she is. And like, you know, like Megan's talked to her at Crazy Mountain and stuff, like that's just who she is. Her and Courtney and these other like amazing females, they're able to do it a different way.
Yeah.
And it's not like they're any less competitive. It's just we kind of have this male lens on competitiveness.
Yeah.
And it's just so cool to see that there's this other option out of here and they're just out kicking ass.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
From that, then to all the way through the back of the pack, watching them finish, go through just as hard. And then even that last, I'm not sure if you watched, but there was that last finisher. I think he missed the cutoff by like 2 minutes and he had a bad lean.
Yeah.
And just the community, and like so cool to see at these races where there's more people at the finish line for the golden hour than there is for the people who win the race.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
It's just so cool.
Yeah. I didn't get to see Rachel come in, but I got to see Megan. So Megan is one of my friends. We started running together here in these trail racing over Texas races. And she was actually volunteering when I did my first 100, which was pretty cool. But just like you, to see your running career expand into what it's going into now, I got to do the same thing with her. And so just super excited for her and everything. Of course, excited for everybody. But when you have a personal connection with somebody, it just makes it that much more, you know, celebratory and everything.
Oh, yeah. And she had such a good race. And like, it was so cool to see for her, not knowing her at all, but listening to all the pre-race shows of like, she wasn't on a lot of people's radar.
Right.
And to see her run her race, like not get caught up in it and then like chase people down.
Yeah.
And it was just so cool to see.
The last run that we ran together was the Smoky Bear Run, I think is what it's called. But it's in New Mexico. Man, she was just lapping me like crazy. And so the only time we got to like stop and like visit was during her walks when it's like actually when she was eating. So I got to catch up with her then. And then to see her fast forward into now, just light years. So definitely amazing and everything. And again, congratulations to all the Cocodona 250 runners. Is this going to be one of your races one day?
I hope so. It's definitely, I mean, well, we'll see how it goes. And then especially, I mean, it's through no fault, but Cocodona going into a lottery because there's so much interest. We'll see because we know how those lotteries are and how hard they're to get into. So I hope the ship hasn't sailed.
Yeah.
I'd love to do it one day. But yeah, I've definitely got to build to it and get ready. And hopefully Phyllis would still be willing to help me at that point because like she's going to get sick of me leaning on her for all these races.
I hear you. Definitely hear you. All right. Is there anything else you want to hit up, go back, revisit before we move into the next section?
No, I think that's good.
And now it's time for the 5 to stay alive. These are 5 questions I ask every guest about themselves and what keeps them motivated. Contestant Danny, are you ready to answer the 5 to stay alive?
Yes.
Here we go. Question number 1. Do you run with or without music? And if so, what is one song that gets the running bear moving?
All right. So when I'm on the trails, typically no music. But when I'm doing a workout or especially these like burrito league type things, I definitely got some music on. One song. So the one now, as if you remember, the one I picked the first go around was my kids. I got to double back to my kids and stay current, show I'm hip with my kids.
Yeah.
It's How It's Done, Huntrix from the K-pop Demon Hunters. We got that soundtrack on a loop, and that's my favorite song.
All right, definitely gonna check that one out. So it's How It's Done, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're gonna check that out after this. Hey, and that one's gonna go on the Run Shoe Diaries playlist. Also, hey, what kind of headphones do you use when you're out there kicking butt on the trails?
Got some Aftershocks. That's always my go-to.
I like the bone conducting technology they have.
Yeah, well, I guess they're shocks now, but yeah, definitely, especially out on the trails, need the open ear to listen for wildlife or anything coming down the trails.
Right. Question number 2. What is something in your life that has gotten better since you started running?
Man, it's hard to pick one thing because it just feels like everything. Running helps keep such a balance to everything. If I had to pick one thing, maybe instead of physical health, I'd go with my mental health. Really helps with my stress relief and kind of just help manage all my life and kind of recenter myself. My mental health has gotten so much better.
That's great. Yeah, definitely a stress reliever. Question number 3. What is one thing that runners should avoid in their journey to become a better runner?
it's one of those things you can't avoid it, but do your best to kind of push it down. It's self-doubt. It's going to happen. You can't completely avoid it, but just not letting it consume you and not giving in to that negative self-talk.
Finish this statement. When it comes to long distance running, the running bear cannot leave the house without
my watch. If it's not on Strava, it doesn't count. Like I got to. There's times I've freaked out, like my watch dies on me and then I got to start it on my phone. I got to have the watch and preferably charged.
Definitely. Question number 5. Do you have a mantra, something that you tell yourself when things get tough?
Yeah. Kind of a mantra. I just more or less think, what's the story you're going to end up telling or want to tell your kids when they see you get home? Like, what's that story? Like, is the story going to be like, hey, their dad quit because it got hard? Or is what is that story going to be? Is the story going to be, hey, no, everything went wrong, but your dad still kept trying and got it done? So that's kind of what I always reflect back to is, what story am I going to go home to tell my kids? And then have my kids hold me honest, because how can I expect them to do these things if I keep quitting on myself?
Hey, that was the 5 to stay alive. I appreciate you rolling with that. Before we bring this one in, is there anything on your mind that you want to leave the people with, or are there any shout outs that you want to give?
So first part first, more or less of you are the author of your own story. And it's not fully written. So no matter how many DNFs you stack up, or even if you get a win under your belt and then another DNF, you are in control of the story and control of the narrative. And don't forget that, because just like with these ultras, the lows don't last forever, but you got to remind yourself the highs don't last forever either. And realize you're in control of that, one foot in front of the other. And then shout outs. Obviously, Phyllis has been shout out a ton already. Megan, big sister Megan, love you so much. And then Eric Stiff Arm, he paced me at Crazy Mountain. Eric's amazing. I wouldn't have got it done at Crazy if it wasn't for him. He went through the whole night with me so much. And then obviously, my dad helping me out for years crewing.
Right.
Then to start your whole Run Shoe Diaries community, that community, and then the Crazy Mountain community, and kind of that overlap, just so much support for someone like me coming into the space and to eventually get it done. I couldn't do it without that whole community.
Oh, man, I definitely appreciate the shout out. And I know Megan and the Crazy Mountain 100 community appreciates it as well. We're here for you. And trust me, we're going to be here through Oregon Outback 230, my brother.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, Danny, thank you for agreeing to come back on the show. Your ability to take a setback and turn it into a foundation for growth is definitely something to be admired. Your willingness to stay consistent and put in the work, keep showing up, it teaches us that progress isn't always loud, but it is always earned. That the races that challenge us most are often the ones that shape us the most. And on behalf of the running community, I want to thank you for continuing to build, for continuing to show up, and continuing to create space for us all at the starting line. So again, Danny Bear, it was truly an honor to have you back on the show. I hope you have a wonderful day, my brother, and I'll see you out there on the trails.
See ya.
We're approaching the finish line, but before we cross, here's some news and views. That was Danny Brigman. Danny's growth as an ultra runner is definitely a story that a majority of us follow, but we just don't know it until we get there. I want to summarize a few points of our conversation that give us some deep insight into his journey. Here's Danny.
Right, especially to look back, because that's some crazy guy with a podcast. That's my big brother now. Was like, yeah, sure, let Crazy Mountain be your first 100. I was so green, I had no idea of anything, and so then Crazy Mountain was like, I felt almost like a puppy dog that was looking for a home and was just trying to latch on to Chico here and just follow him through the mountains. And that's honestly what I felt like as a runner then. Just so green, so wide-eyed, didn't know what I didn't know. And then to now be where I'm at of having finished these hard races and being experienced more in tune with, my mental strengths, weaknesses, physical strengths and weaknesses, and kind of almost trying to also be that helping hand to others of you overestimate what you can do in 1 year, but underestimate what you can do in 3. And I feel like that even rings true here, to where I overestimated what I could do in that first year at Crazy Mountain. Going from running a road marathon being my farthest distance at the beginning of that year. And then, really 3 years of racing, the third try of Crazy Mountain, and then getting it done without putting myself in danger, without flirting with cutoffs, how much just growth as the runner I had over that 3-year period. And so I just think for other people out there, maybe changing that frame of reference for instead of the race directly in front of you or the running season directly in front of you, looking at it more longer, 2-3 years out and what you can accomplish.
As runners, we all come from diverse backgrounds, stories, and experiences. Danny's journey is positive, motivating, and has us all rooting for him. From being a green lost puppy in his first 100-miler to becoming the running bear, Danny's growth in this space has been amazing, well-earned, and a reminder of what's possible when you stay consistent, keep showing up, and trust the process. We're super proud of you, Bear. Keep doing your thing. Good luck, and you have our support through the Oregon Outback 230. Next, whether you're heading out for a long run, crushing a workout, or diving into your next race, keeping those hip dad duties front and center, Danny is adding How It's Done by Huntrix to the Run Shoe Diaries Spotify guest playlist. To keep the momentum rolling, I'm adding Always Alright by the Alabama Shakes, which brings the Run Shoe Diaries Spotify guest playlist to 41 songs. Download and enjoy. And with that, we have crossed the finish line. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or guest recommendations, contact me at runshoe.diaries@gmail.com. Again, that is runshoe.diaries@gmail.com. Be sure to follow us on Instagram. That's where we're most active. But you can also find us on Facebook, X, and YouTube. Keyword search Run Shoe Diaries. Thank you for listening to the Run Shoe Diaries Podcast, episode 27 with Danny Brigman. Until next time, remember that with each step comes the decision to take another. So keep putting one foot in front of the other because it's amazing what you can do on your own 2 feet. And I'm out.
Congratulations, Danny. Say congratulations.
Congratulations.
We're so proud of you.